Thank you.
I just want to say also a really, really special thank you to everybody that came far and wide, that doesn't live in London, to be here. I know it's tiring, it takes time, and we really appreciate so that we can really experience this all together. We also managed to get our 2 days of British summer as well. So hopefully you'll go home and be happy. But yes, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your effort.
Awesome. So I'm just going to thankfully talk for only a couple of minutes, and then Thomas will take over. But from 2 years ago, well, let me go back. 10 years ago, we dreamed about being employee-owned. We planned it 3 years ago. I'd say we struggled a bit with it over time. We announced it 2 years ago, but right now we did it, which I think is really cool. Right now, Equal Experts is 100% owned collectively via perpetual trust. This is the same ownership model used by the John Lewis Partnership that many of you know that we work with in the UK and South Africa and India. But what is different for us is the trust looks after the interests of not just the employees, but all the stakeholders of the network. This is why the trust includes one employee, one associate, and one customer.
And they're sitting over there.
Yes, and you'll meet them later and ask some really tough questions, please. But this is why, even though legally EE becomes employee-owned, we look at it as being network-owned. This means for us, we can ensure EE remains a place that delivers long-term value to all of our stakeholders over the network's short-term profits. Thomas and I will continue to lead Equal Experts, providing stability and guidance. We have planned a continuity period that extends over the next decade if we live, and we look forward to being held account by the Equal Experts Trust. But actually, that's all I'm going to say, other than a huge thank you to everyone, because without all of you, we would not have made this, and it's something we should all be really proud of.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Just to be clear, it's not like we think we build the pyramids or anything, but we do feel we build some things, some stable, some foundation that now really make this haven feel a bit more stable, a bit more solid. So it does feel good. This, let's call it this collectively owned vehicle. This is going to be Ryan and I legacy for sure. And it does feel good to stand here, as we said, now that we've done this. Now, I don't want to pretend. I mean, this was a really tough year for my family, with my wife having cancer. And I'm sure I am not the only one in this audience that's facing hardships. Life is tough, and life is unpredictable. At the same time, Ryan and I do feel this sense of achievement, at least for 1 full minute. Then I start thinking of all the other things I want to do with Equal Experts. And it does feel like a new beginning. And I want to be part of this new chapter. So no one here is retiring. I think some people asked Ryan the other day if he was enjoying his retirement. We are not retiring. But enough about us. What about you? Why should you care about this? Should you actually care? Today, nothing is changing in the way Equal Experts is interacting with each one of you, whether you are an employee or an associate. We are going to manage Equal Experts as we did before. Equal Experts, the consultancy, will stay a commercial organization that generates a profit, charging customer competitive rates. I don't know if there are how many customers we have in the room, but we are just going to do as we always did. And likewise, we're going to pay employees and associates on market value. When it comes to investment, we'll keep doing the same investments that we have always done, that we think are important for Equal Experts' future. Yes, there's something new. Now we have to do repayments to pay the debt, because now we sold the company. There's going to be a period where we'll have to repay a debt. to me and Ryan. But we were very clear when we designed this. We are going to take the hit. Ryan and I will take the hit before any of those repayments impact the future of Equal Experts. We'll just wait longer. What is more, if I still look at today, this move to co-ownership, let's be clear, is of no personal benefit whatsoever to you. I just want to, say it. And that is true whether you're an employee or an associate. Like, there's not one person that benefits here and the other that doesn't. There's nothing that makes this deal something where you are better off in a structural fashion when you're looking at today. So yes, again, I want to be clear, this is the biggest non-event of the story of Equal Experts. I mean, I was going to tell you to look outside, but you can't. But when you come outside, there will be no fireworks. We didn't launch a massive PR campaign. So, if you are the kind of people that live in the moment, you can just stop listening to me and go grab a beer. Because you should really not care about what I'm going to say next. Or maybe you can't count how many times I say the word collective. And I apologize in advance. Now, if you are willing to project yourself in the future, then the only tangible benefit for you and the future you is continuity. Collective ownership enshrines the fact that there will be no change of ownership. So you can have the assurance that Equal Experts will stay Equal Experts or go bankrupt. And so this is the first rule of the trust that we'll go and talk about it a bit later. The first rule of the trust is to provide that governance, that oversight that will help Equal Experts stay true to its value and to the network and doesn't go bankrupt. So if you are mostly a pragmatic person, again, you can stop listening to me and go get a beer. Now, if you are willing to listen to hypotheticals that are years away, then you can ask yourself, what will happen to the profit of this organization once the repayment has been made, when the debt is over? So I just want to be clear here again. That money will not go to the employees. Sorry to disappoint you. We already have a profit share scheme in place for the employees. That money will go to investments that benefits our three stakeholders groups: customer, employee, and associates. Both current and future ones. Because from today we are in this dynamic of paying forward. What those investment looks like, I don't know. And I don't want to speculate, because obviously having profit in the first place is not guaranteed. This is why we're still at this hypothetical stage. But we want to figure this out in the years to come. And this is where I think there is the second role of the trust, to provide this governance so that this allocation of profit does happen as intended. So this is what I mean when I say moving to collective ownership frames the future of Equal Experts. This is what I mean when I say it opens up possibilities to develop this network value proposition, both for the community of customer and the community of consultants. And you will see some early signs of this intent. For instance, in the efforts we are putting in launching our customer network after this summer. There, what we want to do is start bringing value to our customers outside of engagements as member of the network. And now the sign is that we will be opening a 5,000 square foot office space over 3 floors in central London in Farringdon at the end of the year. And we want this space to become the home of Equal Expert, the home of the network, for the benefits of all its members. So, okay, great, thank you, Thomas. What about now and then? Do we just wait for this rosy future to happen, where we can all benefit from those profits one way or the other? Or is there something we can do today that moves us forward toward a truer sense of collective ownership? And I think this is where I want to sidestep the commonly understood notion of ownership around financial value that you can buy and sell. And I want to consider other things that are valuable as well, like relationships and knowledge. After all, the reason why Equal Expert exists today is to bring us together in this haven we talk about. A haven where it's easier to build relationships that are genuine and where we can create value while learning from each other. So if you had the elements of what I just said, relationships on an equal footing, co-creation of knowledge, and also this new framing of our collective ownership of that haven, what do you get? And I think what you get is collective knowledge. Can we become this hive mind where we are systematically sharing knowledge, giving it, receiving it, learning together, co-creating, and do that at a much higher level than we are doing today? Because if we do, what happens next? So first, we benefit individually by getting better at what we do, faster, further, but we also benefit collectively by getting better at helping our customers as a hive mind. So those are extremely valuable things. And guess what? You do own that knowledge, and you do own those relationships. They are yours to keep, and they are yours to share. You can choose to share them within our network. So can knowledge and relationship become the new currency of our collective? For this knowledge sharing to work better than it does today, there's still, of course, lots of big obstacles that we have to overcome. You know, around rotation, between engagements, around how we manage our knowledge. And this is not a new problem. In the 80s, Hewlett-Packard, which was an amazing company way ahead of their time, they had this saying, if only HP knew what HP knows. So I would argue those challenges aren't just about rotation and knowledge management. They're also deeply cultural. It can only be a collective knowledge if we do think like a collective. So yes, we do have one value related to this. I'm not going to do a quiz, but we have this value that we say we value learning over knowing. If you've been to my welcome session, you remember. But I want to challenge ourselves a little bit on this one. Do we really mean it when we say it? We are experts and we are hard because of what we know. So our first instinct is just get on with it. Why waste time asking for help when I know what I'm doing? I'm not going to read that 20-page book about inceptions. It's way too long. Plus, I really like to do it this way with my blue pen, and I don't want to do it this way with the red pen. Or my context is so unique that no one can possibly help me. They won't understand the complexity of my situation anyway, which is very unique. So it's not even worth asking the question. Or, I don't really know what everyone else is doing, so I don't know what the rest of Equal Expert has to offer. Or I just don't feel safe asking a question to 3,000 strangers on Slack. And I think that's why relationships are so important. The relationship within the network, knowing people, feeling safe to ask questions, because you are not going to effectively share knowledge with a bunch of strangers. And that's what I would argue, relationships are the biggest enabler of knowledge. So could we get to that place where we ask ourselves, let's assume for a moment it's easy to get the answers, where we ask ourselves, what would the network do? What has the network done? Maybe someone has done it a bit differently than me, and then we don't reinvent the wheel and build on top of each other. Helping customers not just as great individuals, but even more as a collective than we do today, would have a massive impact on our value proposition. Every single customer, they all told me the same thing. They value equal experts for the individuals, right? They said, your brand equals very high quality individuals. Awesome. A few said, and also value the culture that they bring. And fewer still said, and also value equal experts' know-how and ways of working. So being able to demonstrate better this hive mind would go a long way to address concerns about the consistency of our services. Some of our longer-term repeat customers, they ask to work with the very same people they worked before, or at least they insist to work with people that have been around the network for a long time. And they do that because they know us better than most. They want to make sure they benefit from our collective knowledge, this know-how that they learn to value, but they also know it's hard to access. The collective knowledge will also support the customer network we're launching, of course, because this will all be based around co-creation with our customers. And we want to give them unfettered and frictionless access to our knowledge. So don't take me wrong, as I said, this is not a new problem. But I think we are reaching some kind of critical mass at Equal Experts. With the growing size of the business, I mean, look at this room, lots more people than a few years ago. The growing size of the network, the more and more ambitious engagements we are actually taking on. But also the increase of depth of our capabilities, and the new supporting structures we are putting in place. All of this, plus the new framing of co-ownership, it all makes me think that we are at a tipping point of a step change towards that collective knowledge. If we crack this, if we improve this hive mind that we all contribute to and that we all benefit from individually and collectively, I think this is what will put Equal Experts on a different trajectory and have an exponential impact on our future profits. Those hypothetical profits that will benefit all of us and also all the future us as well. So what I'm saying is the more of our knowledge, the more of our relationship we put in this collective or haven, the more we will have of this collective knowledge, which is immensely valuable to all of us. So I think this is another way to look at what Equal Experts collective ownership can achieve, hypothetically. Thank you.